Probably the scariest thing about, I'm sorry, I'm short. Probably the scariest thing about this story is the way that the draft looks. This is why you should just read over a couple of lines before you do this. The title of this is I Suck at Titles. When a new world ends, it is preceded by a sort of thrumping sound that is not so much heard as it is felt. Every so often, we all stood together on a quantum sidewalk as a higher power drove by slowly in a tricked-out car with a tricked-out stereo. The endings come in a pauseless rhythm, their beats running together in strings so long it feels like the speakers might rattle out of their racks and into your stomach. The louder the sound, the less we move. Our hearts try too hard to match the erratic sounds, while our lungs struggle to push back at the pressure building against our chests. When the last beat of the thrumming ends, it leaves an unstill silence in its place. The silence always makes the actual happening of the end so much worse. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your post-world ending pain? The nurse at the aid station tapped on a tablet as she waited for me to respond. Oh, I'd say 110 for every nerve capable of telling my brain that something is trying to push its way through my skin and make my blood cells explode. The stylus in her hand paused for a long moment. So a 10, yeah? Yes, just put down a freaking 10. We all lie about what happened after the pain, about what we saw. Some parts of our world moved while others stood locked into place. Echoes like ourselves, but not quite, layered over our faces and our hands. In our ears, we heard conversations with people that we could not see. Some of us had no echo at all. Some of us were lost entirely, disappearing in one blink only to reappear days or months later. We never know exactly where we've been, but scientists are working on that problem too. A scientist once tried to explain the situation to a news anchor on the TV. She balanced slices of bread in her hands, one with peanut butter, the other jelly. You know, I used to love PBJs, but apparently I'm allergic to peanuts at the moment. Up until now, these quantum membranes kept our world A, she held up the peanut butter slice, away from alternate world B, up went the jelly slice. One of her echoes held up the jelly slice first, then the peanut butter. She laughed. There was probably another version of me who used chunky instead of smooth peanut butter, she said, and another for any permutation, I shouldn't use words that I can't pronounce, and another for any other permutation of PBJ in the smallest increment of possibility allowed. An electron goes this way instead of that. A world is created, a world is destroyed. But the boundaries of the brains that hold all of those possibilities in place are eroding for some unknown reason. Without them, our separate realities sort of do this. And with a certain sort of destructive or delicious relish, she slapped the two pieces together, then pulled them apart to reveal the collision of filling inside. We smush. No one likes smush. Smush implies a warm hug from the jelly-sided world. Yet no one is willing to consider calling this anything else. Eventually, we stopped counting how many worlds ended. The thrumping is fainter. The pain of each new collapse is fainter. We are all moving together now like sediments in a jostled jar of water. Echoes laid upon themselves, nothing clear, just brown noise. This world has ended. This world never ends at all.